Hansel Dev. How are you? I'm going good. I'm just setting up the stream. I won't be long. Let's jump straight into it. Welcome. I hope everyone's going well tonight. Yeah, we are still in the designing sort of phase, but we're now looking at accessibility, which is something we were meant to do last stream, but got hung up on more of the design sort of stuff. We've also got some feedback, which I do want to implement today. It shouldn't be too long. Famous last words, of course, but we'll do that at the same time with the accessibility stuff. I've also got to quickly do up the blog post of what we want to tackle this month. I haven't done the retrospective yet, but I booked out time tonight to do it. So yeah, we'll quickly do the blog post. All right, I am just going to jump into an November 2025 goals. So I'm just gonna copy that there. We've got to do an SEO description. Development for the 0.32 branch is currently underway. Design and mock-ups ready for user feedback. Yeah, it is. We'll just pick a quick image. Let's go hero image. Let's pick a new one. We did the welcome one the other day. I'm just going to, yeah, we'll do, actually, no, this is the SOE. Give me a couple of seconds. I am just going to cheat. I'm going to take a screenshot of something like this, just to show the mock-ups and all that kind of stuff. We're just going to download it. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. We're going to re-upload that. Oops, clicking on the wrong thing. We want to go blogs. We want to create a new blog. This will be called November 2025. Alright. Oh, that just took a little while to actually create. Cool, no problem. Let's upload something. Let's hit our downloads. Let's do a screenshot from today. That should upload. Sweet, we'll just hit that. Yeah. And Atri, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Welcome. I am still working on our mock-ups. However, we'll be working on accessibility today to see how that will fit in our mock-up and so forth like that. At the moment, I'm just writing up the simple blog post stating what we want to actually achieve this particular month, which is going to be very, very short. Love your dedication energy. I wish you could have opposite energy because this is that you have. Thank you very much. By the way, inspired me to code and now jump into React to learn more. Cool, neat. Yeah, I'm assuming you're building little things, building projects and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. So yeah. All right, we're just gonna pick a background image. I'm just gonna, this one, we'll pick the traffic lights. That'll be fine. We'll make this fancier. Oh, I'm gonna drag that up there. Oh, it's not letting me. All right, that's a bug. This will be development blog. I'm just going to copy this because it's the same thing. We're just adding in this. We're just going to add counter bugs at the top. Should do this so you guys can actually see me type stuff out very, very quickly. What we want to do is we're just going to do a quick rich text block. Gotta wait for that to pop in, and then yeah, usually with the blogs, I'll have the that up there. 31 development. Alright, cool. So I just want to update everyone on the development for 0.31. 0.31 development has wrapped up. From this point, we will implement, we will fix any bugs in the system. This is going to be very, very quick. So it's wrapped up. What are we going to do? We're going to fix up any bugs. We're going to deploy any security patches, both at the NearBeach level and library level. What else will we do? Small feature requests, because yeah, we can still do small feature requests. We're expecting 0.32 to take about 7 to probably 9 months to sort of get to the release candidate. There's not a lot of rewriting of the code itself. A lot of it's moving around, but it's the whole UI UX stuff, which will take time. API nodes, adding and refining. Alright, cool. So I think that's pretty much it for the NearBeach 0.31 development. The following items we are still, I don't want to say focus or stuff like that. So even though we are currently focusing a lot of our energy, if I can spell, no I can't, energy, onto 0.32 branch, we will be doing the following. So, are you working alone on this? There are people who do contribute small little tiny stuff to the code base. So one of our mods on Twitch, which reminds me, I'm going to switch over onto that. One of our mods on Twitch actually does contribute to the code base. It is open source. I am looking for feedback and all that kind of fun stuff. Because yeah, feedback it does help a lot. A lot of the stuff within NearBeach, so for example, prod.nearbeach, let's go to the Kanban board information 2. So I'm actually using it to build it, but these collapsible swim lanes, that was an idea someone came up with. The fact that someone was like, listen, can we actually have the count on both the columns, and the swim lanes was someone else's idea. The ability to lock the cards in place was someone's idea. So yeah, we do actually have a lot of some people actually contributing ideas too, which I will definitely say is contributing to it. All right, do the following. So I'm going to say bug fixes. We're going to do that as paragraph header. Bug fixes. Socks, you're like right in the camera way. Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. Socks is just taking over. So any user reported. I won't say user. Actually, no. I'm gonna any user reported bugs will be looked at. We will be fixing. Will be looked at. Yeah, any user bugs reported will be looked at, and fixes within any within means will be deployed. All right. This also does. Does include security patches at both the NearBeach level and any relied on libraries. Alright, cool. So that covers those two two things. I'm just going to small feature requests. All right, let's do this. Sorry, I've got to have the mouse sucks. Yes, I know I pushed you on your little butt. Little tushy, you're like, no. All right, so small feature requests. Though the large features, most of the features requested in the 0.31 branch have been completed. We understand that there are some functionalities that users might require. If the request is not too large, not too complicated, and does not consume too many development hours, we will be happy to implement it. All right, cool. I think that's what I kind of trying to get across. So most of the features requested in 0.31 branch has been completed. We understand that there are some functionalities that users might require. If the request is not too complicated, does not consume too many hours, we're happy to implement it. I don't want to be a bit rude and say, oh, this will push back 0.32 or anything like that. I'll leave it at that. All right. API improvements. Sorry, got to borrow the mouse again, sucks. All right. As we are building the 0.32 API, a lot of that will actually be back-forwarded into 0.31 for user feedback. As we are not building, expanding on the 0.32, expanding on the API, a lot of the newly constructed nodes will be backported into 0.31 for user review. We are requesting user feedback on these nodes, as that feedback will help us guide the 0.32 API, version 1 API. All right, cool. All right, so those are some of the things that we're doing at the moment for the 0.32 development. I'm just going to update that. That's perfectly fine. I'm just going to hit the save so I don't lose any data. That would really suck. All right, let's add in another rich text block once that's saved. Yep. All right, here we are. Cool. 0.32 development. Going to be a page header. What are we going to say in here? We're going to say mockups have started. Writing of documentation. Developer documentation. Okay, research. Started. It had started. All of this has started. The development cycle of the 0.32 branch has started. We are currently building mock-ups of the new designs for user feedback. These mock-ups will be a... Can you stop chewing the pen socks? No, hey, stop it. These mockups will be a vertical slice, and I can't spell, it's EL. No, it isn't. Holy hell, I don't know. Oh, vertical. Alright, cool, easy done. These mockups will be a vertical slice of NearBeach with no real functionality yet. We will first be looking at the dashboard and projects section of NearBeach. For example, the mock-ups will eventually be able to show show how we are going to handle the CRUD, aka what the process will be when creating a new project and searching for an existing project. Alright, cool. These mockups are currently located here. Okay, you can find the mockups here. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a hyperlink. So that is going to be this right now. Okay, easy done. That will be submit. Alright, cool. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's what we're trying to achieve this month. Alright, cool. It's a short vlog. It's not going to be long. Alright. And then, yeah, a lot of this will actually... I'm gonna find this funny because once we got the API stuff done, the code coverage for the backend is gonna automatically increase. Yeah, that's just a random thought I just had. So, I've got to update that. That's not correct. Give me a couple of seconds. Let's go to hub.docker. So I'm doing a little bit of administration at the moment. Let's search for NearBeach on here. We'll just go into here because I know I did a release the other day. I've got to do another one, 102. And that would have been on October the 15th. All right, cool. So yeah, we'll be doing another release very shortly. And it'll be more of a security and library update release. Alright, so I'm just going to close this. I'm going to close this. We're going to open up this. We're going to click start developing now. So yeah, let's click on this. I'm just going to open up that. And what we want to learn is accessibility. So one thing that NearBeach doesn't have at the moment is proper accessibility. I just never sat down and learned how to do it properly. I've been slowly learning in the last couple of weeks, and the idea being is as we do a lot of the refactoring of the old components with the UI and stuff like that, we'll be implementing accessibility at the same time. So the mock-up will show us all the pain points and what we'll need to actually do. So yeah. So web accessibility, also known as A11Y, or I like to say ALI for some strange reason, refers to the practice of creating websites that can be used by anyone, be that person with a disability, a slow connection, outdated or broken hardware, or simply anyone in unfavorable environments. For example, adding subtitles to a video would help both your deaf and hard of hearing users and your users who are in a loud environment and can't hear their phones. Similarly, make sure your text isn't too low contrast. Will help both your low vision users and your users who are trying to use their phone in a bright sunlight setting. Ready to start but aren't sure where? Alright, so we do have a couple of links. I'm not going to read these today, but these are also other bits of research that I will be implementing too. But also, another streamer here on Twitch has actually written this out. If you guys have never heard of playful programming, this is what we'll also be following today. And G Bowen, how are you going? Sorry, I just saw your text then. Welcome back. Hopefully you're going well. Welcome, welcome. I should do a shout out for Crutchcorn. So give me 2 seconds whilst I do that. Oops. Okay, cool. Because we are going to be using their little blog post today. All right. So with accessibility, we've got a skip link. I will admit, I was a bit confused about this. I was like, but why are we doing a skip link and all that kind of stuff? And then it sort of clicked is if you got the screen readers and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure the idea of a skip link is to skip all of these. So you go straight to the main section. Alright, you should add a link at the top of each page that goes directly to the main content area so users can skip the content that is repeated on multiple web pages. So for example, the nav bar and all that kind of stuff. Typically this is done at the top of the app view as it will be the first focusable element on your page. So yeah, we're going to implement that today. So I'm just going to go over here. We're just going to close all the tabs because we're fine. We're going to minimize everything. We're going to open up this. We're going to go into our source, our app view. And then we're just going to scroll down a little bit. And we're just going to go and add our skip link in straight there at the top of the template. Yeah, we'll be happy with all that. Now, why have I did a computer aside up? Yeah, to do that aside stuff. All right, yep. Now I don't know why the class skip links is there. To hide the link unless it is focused, you can add the following style. All right, cool. Oh, all right. So this is actually adding everything in. So I'm just going to add all of that in. I'm just going to reformat that. We're just going to go there and just delete all of that. We are going to do something like that. And for those on Twitch, don't forget to !point drop followed by your favorite emoji. So you can join the drop game. I kind of wish that was also on YouTube, but sadly it's not. It'd be pretty cool if it was. So yeah, then it'll be pretty awesome if we could, 74.62. It would be pretty awesome if we could have like a YouTube team and a Twitch team all fight over the drop. That would be pretty cool. All right, so they've got this up here. Now, at the moment, if we actually go back to our stuff, I can close that. I can keep that open. You see, we've got some of that hot pink slipping through. And what that hot pink tells us is I've got something somewhere that's causing things to move out of the way. Now, you might be wondering how is that done? Let me bump, oops, I didn't mean to click that button. I was meant to click that button, but that's perfectly fine. On the body itself, I've just got the background as hot pink. And the reason being is it stands out. It's my little trick with what I do. When we actually deploy this for real, I'll remove the hot pink just in case I've missed something. That way hot pink doesn't show. You see I use pretty bold colors to sort of distinguish. I have not done these yet. So the dashboard is blue because I haven't done the dashboard yet. Alright, so what I want to do is let's get rid of that hot pink. Let's get rid of that hot pink section. So I'm just going to move that there. So what this is saying, to hide the link unless it is focused, you can add the following styles. We're pretty much going to copy all of that. But also at the same time, this could be a very small component. And the reason why I'm saying that is that way I just keep this very, very clean. We don't have that much on the app itself. It's a very lean entry point. But then I've got to start thinking about other things too. Like, all of a sudden, my components folder is getting... This folder's fine, sorry. Actually, yeah, this folder is getting a little bit larger and larger and larger and larger. And what I've got to do is potentially sort of then organize it in a way which makes sense. So I could have a folder called navigation, which deals with the aside bar, deals with the nav bar, and deals with the skip links. It shouldn't be too hard to actually implement something like that. Then I could have another folder called objects, which deals with, for example, the project, the Kanban board, the Kanban cards, and so forth like that. And then I could break it down like that. But at the moment, I am just having a good think whether or not I want to do that. I won't do that today, because I'll probably have to flesh out what components I've got, how I'm going to sort of flesh them out and stuff like that. But I can put in skip links. I'm just thinking, considering this is 2 words, am I going to do that or that? Give me a couple of seconds. Sorry, I'm going to have a look at the... We've got an underscore there. How do I currently do the NearBeach folder structure? Let's actually have a quick look. We're just going to go into the source code. So source, we've got the JavaScript, we've got the components. We do underscore, and I'm going to keep that. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to right hand click. We're going to do the directory. This would be skip links. And then in here, we're just going to add in another view component. It's going to be the compositional. And we're just going to go skip links. It's going to be like that. We've got the template. What we're going to do in here is we're just going to delete all of this. We're going to put in skip links like so. We don't need to push anything down into it. We've just added it in there. Cool. I'll just put that up with those so they're just all together. We're just going to go back over here. We're just going to copy what they've got because no need to rewrite the wheel. Just format it very, very quickly. Okay. Now if we go on here, notice how we got rid of all that pink background. Sweet. So we should be able to see on the page the quick links. So we've got the app, open it up. We've got a span, tab index -1. And then we've got the, yep, that's the quick links itself. So the idea is that span goes back to the top. All right, cool. And then the quick links. Let's reference back to the top. All right, so I think that's going to be used elsewhere. We'll find out. Okay, so we've got the main. So if someone click on the main, we've got the skip link, the class link. What will actually happen is that will go directly to the main down here, which will house all the content that the user would want to actually access and so forth like that. So going back onto here, to hide the link unless it is focused, you can add the following styles. Sweet. Once a user changes route, brings focus back to the very beginning of the page, right before the skip link. They can, this can be achieved by calling the focus on back to the top template ref, assuming usage of the view router, which we will implement today. So, assuming usage of the view router, I'm assuming this is watch route path to do back to the top value. All right. Yeah, we'll just grab that. And what we'll do is we'll want this open. We'll just paste that in. We'll format the page. Oops, we've got a couple of scripts in there. So we'll do that. We'll just format the page. Now, I don't know why it's hating that script. I'm just going to comment out all this for a second. Sometimes it just has an issue. So, yep, we'll just do that. So, the idea is it looks at the route. If the route path changes, it goes back to the top to focus on it. So, if we go over here, I'm just going to go refresh. I'm just going to go to the right. If someone clicks on that, it should just, in theory, focus on that thing. Okay, cool. Read documentation on skip link to main content. Okay, cool. Yeah, it looks like I've still got quite a bit of reading to do. Test rules, the following test rules relate to the technique and stuff like that. All right, but it's been implemented. So yeah, I'm quite happy. All right, content structure. One of the most important pieces of accessibility is making sure that design can support accessibility implementation. Design should consider not only color, contrast, font, selection, text sizing, and language, but also how the content is structured in the application. Headings. So users can navigate an application through headings. Having descriptive headings for every section of your application makes it easier for the users to predict the content of each section. Yep, cool. When it comes to headings, there are a couple of recommended accessibility practices, nested headings, and ranked in their order. So the headings themselves, so H1, H2, and so forth like that. Great way of sort of H1 saying what's on the page, and then H2 being the little sections themselves and so forth like that. Don't skip headings within a section. Use actual heading tags instead of styling text to give visual appearance of headings. All right, cool. So yeah, use the H tags, make sure, yeah, so we're not styling a P tag. So there's got H1, and then you got the sections, and then you got the H2s within there, and so forth like that. We can read some more about that, but I'm pretty happy with that. We won't have that many headings within NearBeach. And in here, okay, one thing which I would like to point out that we haven't done before is we've got main, we've got the role main, we've got the label by, and we've got main title there. We've never actually done that before in NearBeach, and that's something that we should potentially implement. So if someone lands on, a search page, we should actually have the search and what we're searching for on here. One thing which I should fix up straight away is instead of having just search, I should specify what you're searching. So these automatically go to search. I should be going search project, search task, search request for change, search requirement, search Kanban board, and this one's fine, this is dashboard. I should also do the same thing with the new ones. Once again, this is a vertical slice. So we should do new project in there. Now, we've just reached one of our ad breaks on Twitch. For those on YouTube, we tend to do ads on Twitch. That's just to stop the pre-rolled ads because they suck. So yeah, we tend to do this for about 90 seconds so no one misses out on any content. I don't have a Rubik's Cube here. So yeah, I've got about a minute left. I've been doing a lot of reading around this. Still got a lot more reading to go. But yeah, any improvement to NearBeach is going to help NearBeach. Alright, give me a couple of seconds. I've also started writing stuff down on my Kindle. Alright. Yep. Actually close out of that. I'm going to go to notebooks. New front-end design. There we go. We've got about 30 seconds left for the ads. Don't mind me. I am just writing up things that... We also got some feedback. Excuse my messy writing, but yeah, I did some testing on the weekend. We got some feedback from users, and that's something we gotta fix today also. So about 10 seconds worth of ads. I'm just keeping that in front of me so I don't forget. And then we'll do the accessibility stuff. And welcome back, everyone. All right, jump back onto this. So we're gonna start doing that accessibility thing right away. So the skip links I'm happy with. That should all be rendering in perfectly fine. We've got the main, we've got the class. In here we should go area labeled by, and we should, if we go back into here, they've got main title in here. I'm gonna say main title too. Yeah, that should be fine. And then what we should do, and this is why I do this in a vertical slice first, is if I'd done all the components, I would have to go through each component and then make those changes, which will just suck. And now I'm starting to think that I should split this up a little bit more. We've got the errors, that would be a high one. We've got a dashboard, that will be different sections. All right, so we've got NearBeach project. There is that. We're just going to go in here. We're going to go is main title. So off that. You use webami.org and Wave expansion plugins for Chrome and do. Let's have a look. Wave web accessibility evaluation tool. Ooh, thank you very much, G Brownie. Oops, wrong way. That way. I am going to bring that down. I'm going to put that there. We currently use Axe dev tools and stuff like that, but having more tools and different tools to actually sort of search, definitely useful. All right, wave accessibility. Where is a? I'm going to put that on the right side. Is a suite of validation tools that helps authors make their web content more accessible and individuals with. Ooh, all right, cool. So I'm just going to. We're just going to do that. Now you said there's a plugin for them. Errors 1. Language missing or invalid. All right, cool. No header structure, no page regions. All right, cool. That might be because it's just grabbed the page and then we're using VueJS to, of course, manipulate it. All right, I'll bring that one down. There we go. And yeah, that's where a plugin will work better. Let's got a high rating. All right, cool. But yeah, expected that for just loading in the page, and that's fine. We're not worried about that. If I go into here, I'm gonna have to, I think, reload the page. It's not in this, is it? No. So if I move that to the right, it's part of the plugin. Ah. All right, cool. So we've got 8 errors. Empty form label. All right, cool. No, I like this. I like this a lot. We can fix a lot of this tonight. Order, link, skip menu, all right, cool. That was neat. Structure, we've got navigation aside, main, and search. Yep. Oh, I will say, I like this tool. All right. I'm just going to refresh the page. I am going to go through and quickly implement this main title stuff first. And Skype list, welcome. First time checking my stream? Yeah, welcome. We are building, well, we have built an open source project management system called NearBeach. We are currently going through a UI UX redesign as well as fixing up quite a lot of the stuff. Essentially getting rid of technical debt. Yeah, so we are currently doing mock-ups at the moment, but at the same time, we're treating the mock-ups like this is how we want to tackle these particular problems. For example, accessibility, how are we going to tackle it and do it everywhere? So, yeah. All right, so I'm happy with that. The new project, the project information, that will be, once again, we just click on this. We go ID equals main title. That's perfectly fine. We're happy with that. We're just going to close that. We are going to open up the search now. The search is going to be a little bit different because we've got the routed place in there. And we've got that. Now, that style is no longer needed because that's actually up at the CSS file, but we do need to go simply bind ID equals, and this is where we can do I'm going to do it as a computer component. And I'm going to put this in alphabetical order because I'm a stickler for that. So, const main title ID equals computed. We're just going to fill that out very, very quickly. We don't need any of that, but what we do need to do is do something like that. Now, if we actually sneak over here, we've got the routes in here, like so. Yeah. And we need to put this in proper casing too. So at the moment, I'm going to do return search that will be perfectly fine. We've got it all called and all that kind of stuff. So if we actually hit refresh on here, it'll be search, but I need to actually find out if I can get in here a little bit, or if I got a trick up my sleeve. So with this, we do have in here the name of staff, and we do have the destination that we're passing through. And I'm just wondering if I could hijack that. So a good way to do that is, if we go into here, I'm just going to go console log, and we're going to say route information. And we're just going to put in the route in there and leave it like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that onto the left. We're going to go into the console. We're just going to hit refresh because that's perfectly fine. So we've got route information in here. We've got the proxy. We've got the target. We do have in here the name search. So not quite what I want. I was hoping there was going to be a, we've got the path, we've got the params. Okay. So we do actually have the destination that we can get to. What I want to do here is I want to go, not take a screenshot. I'm just going to go const. This will be the destination equals, and we're just going to go route.params.destination. And then what we wanted to do is, the destination might change. So what I mean is, that param might be undefined, and we don't want to send through undefined or anything like that. So I don't want to it as a const. I'm going to have it as a let, and then destination equals, if destination equals undefined, then what we're going to do is we're going to have something else, otherwise it'll stay as destination and we'll be fine with that. Now that could move all into one line, but I'm afraid it will probably be a little too long to read, hence I'm splitting it over 2 lines, and that's perfectly fine. So that will be search. So the search destination, and then what we want to do is we want to search all objects. We could come up with a better name. I mean, we can come up with just a blank. Nothing like that. And that will be fine. That way it's just search. Yeah, I can't think of a better word at the moment. And then what we want to do is we want to return, and I realize I'm doing this in the wrong spot. All right, so we want let destination equal the route.params.destination. Easy done. So if the destination equal, hang on, I just wonder if there's this in JavaScript. And what I would do is I would do something like that. And we're just testing this at the moment. So I'm just going to reload. Cool. So we've got everything in. If I click on requirement, none of those things are coming through. I've mucked things up. Main title. Sorry, I thought this needed to be v-binded, but I am going crazy. This should be main title, like so. It's in here that we've got to do something like main title. I'm just going to do something like that very, very quickly. All right, so we want to go over here. We're just going to hit refresh everything. So we've got the Kanban board. So we've still got the underscores and stuff like that, but that's not going to be a problem. We're going to fix that up now. So, and then we've got to get proper case 2. So the first thing is, if that's undefined, then that will be fine. So if I do something like this, search is not found. All right, we still kind of want it to go to the search page. So I need to actually edit this. I need to essentially go path, search, and then component. That will be search name is search. I don't know if it'll throw up an issue with it being like that. If I do refresh, yeah, sorry, not found. And then these work perfectly fine. That's where I've got to go. View router, optional params. I'll do that so you guys can read. So, for example, they've got users with the ID. If I just want just user, oh, sorry. Getting rid of that like that. Yeah, still not finding the stuff. Search all. I'm just gonna do it like that. We're just gonna paste it after that. I don't know if that will work, but we'll find out. There you go. You're currently stuck on route search. I'm just out of curiosity. I'm just gonna paste it like that. All right, I just needed a new name for it. So, and that's it. That's all I needed to do. So search all, that component goes into there. You're stuck on that route. We just got the search. We do actually have a space there, which we can fix. We can fix this. So, I'm now happy with that. It does mean that this is, I think, working how we want it to. If I do a simple console log destination, and then we just add in the destination like that, just to see what it's like. I'm just going to hit refresh on this one page. Destination, empty string. Cool. I'm happy with that. I'm just also double checking that. So JavaScript. Undefined. Undefined. Let's see if I can. No, all right, not a problem. Let's just bump open this. I'll bump this off to the left for you guys. We're just playing around in the console itself. We'll just, whoops, wrong button. We'll clear it out. Let's go var a equals undefined. Right, so when we get a, we got undefined. We're going to be fine with that. So if I go var b equals a, it was undefined. We'll do something like that. B should be it was undefined. There we go. All right, so that does work. Now to make sure we're checking it, I'm going to do that again. I'm just going to go var d equals c question, it was undefined. And then if we do d, oh, all right, even though c is already like that, so that functionality does not work how we want it to. So if we actually, sorry, it's something that I know that you can do in C#. I was just wondering if we could do it here, but it works there. Yeah. All right. Just gonna hit refresh. So we're on task. If I hit project, I don't have the destination in there, so console log destination. All right, cool. It hot reloads, and then it's requirement, task, project, request for change. Yeah, it seems to be working. And then if I get rid of that, it is empty string. Yeah, I'm just afraid that the double question marks might not be a JavaScript thing. All right, not a problem. If I go all objects in here, this will be the final test. We go over here, we've got all objects, and then we've got all of those working perfectly fine. I'm just gonna hit refresh. I'm just gonna remove that. We're gonna, all right, cool. Yeah. Did I wanna, potentially, I'll keep it like that. So we've got the destination. Now, we're happy with that. I want to get this into proper case and without any underscores and stuff like that. So we need to go destination equals destination dot replace. What we're going to do is we're going to replace any, now these will be underscores, because it's part of the URL. Place underscore with something like that. Now it's throwing up an issue being like that, so I'm just going to double check JavaScript base functionality, string prototype, paragraph. Yeah, no, it's meant to be like that. And then, yep, all right, cool. It's all lowercase. I don't know why it's coming up with red. Who knows? All right, so JavaScript proper case, or title case, I should think it is. Convert string. I'm just seeing if this is easy to do. Run sample. I mean, potentially. Okay, I'm just going to copy that very, very quickly. We've just got a method that we can use. I'm just going to go right in methods down here. Oh, sorry, G Brown. Yes, the question is a JavaScript thing. All right, awesome. Normal syntax is for let result equals. All right, cheers. Thank you very much. Sorry, I just saw your comment, but you'll only get a null or undefined. That's fine. Yep, that's perfectly fine. So in this case, if we've got a, well, it'll be either defined or undefined. However, that being said, what if they do a /? No, that works perfectly fine. All right, cool. Alright, so we've got this little method down here, and we might move this to a mixin because I can see us using it in other places. It's important to distinguish it from logical or that. Alright, yeah. Alright. So what this is doing is a string replace. There's some regex where we've got, I don't know how to read that, regex, I'm not gonna lie. We've then got string replace, we've got the text character to uppercase plus the substring 1 to lowercase. Alright, and that's kind of what we want to do in here. So we don't have any uses of that at the moment, but that will be something like where we just go destination equals to title case, and then we just put in the destination like that. And then that should all work perfectly fine. We've got the string, that's going to be a string. That should not complain now. Yep, that's perfectly fine. And the destination, why is that complaining? The argument must be of a string array. It's not assigned parameter of string. All right. Now this one's complaining where the type view type string or string is not assigned to type string. Type is not assigned to type string. Alright, I think it's complaining about this particular one. I'm going, there's, what, come on. Yes, it's possibly undefined. But that's why we've got the question mark. I think it wants me to do the that if it's undefined, and then we go, yeah, all right, sweet, cool. Now I've suppressed all those problems. Sort of distinguish it from logical or, yeah, all right, cool. So, get the destination with the default all objects. Now what I'm also doing is I'm just formatting this very, very quickly. All objects, that's fine like that. Manipulate the destination. Like so, and return title. Easy done. So that should now, there we go, perfect. If we go into requirement, request for change. Ooh, we didn't replace everything for that. Okay. Is there a replace all functionality? Oops. I'm just gonna go var a equals hello world exclamation point. Easy done. If you go r dot replace all, and then we just do under with like that, and then all right, cool. So I just need the replace all. And I think I need to do it down here. And, ooh. Okay. I did it over there. We use the JavaScript in operator, which is similar. Okay. Go to this. I'll bump that off to the right. The in operator returns true if the specified property is the specified object or prototype chain. The in operator can be used to search for values in other collections. Test certain value exists in array. Use includes for sets used has. All right, cool. So that is an object. All right, cool. On to make in. All right, so it gets that, and that will be true. Delete car make if. Okay, yep. So essentially, if we could do an in here, and okay, yeah. I'm gonna keep it like this, because I could read this pretty well. Either destination, question mark to string. All right, if it doesn't exist, because I'm used to .NET doing that, and then we can do all objects. Now, the replace all functionality. Oh, I got out of the frontend stuff. Oops. I'm just gonna close that. JavaScript replace all. Paragraph replace all. Did I just not type it in correctly? Is that what I did? No, I'm still having a problem. View property replace all does not exist on type string. You need to change the target library. Try changing the libcompiler option to ES2001 or later. Oh, is this a new thing? It's a tiny bit clearer, but it's handy. Yeah, fair enough. There are certain things I will be using the in and has for, especially when it comes to the Kanban board functionality, where I need to find out if a particular card falls under a particular column and level. All right, so socks don't scratch the top. So this feature is well established and works across many devices and browsers. It has been available across the browser since August 2020. That's fair enough. What I need to do is I need to then update that to ES 2021. That will be part of the TypeScript stuff, won't it? Hang on, I gotta. Replace all does not. You need to change the target library. I don't know if that's in here or one of these. Tell you what. Nope. Change target library to ES 2021. Includes method also works, but it's slightly different to that too. And the object is, but it's static. Ooh, all right. All right. Do build options default. Okay, cool. I'm just going to find ES 2021. Oh no, we got transform. Perform, and should be is build target options. There we go. Custom targets can be either an ES version, a browser with version. All right, cool. All right. I'm just double checking that we've got this particular value in here. 2021. We've got. Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, cool. So build.target. I think I'm gonna go to the byte. I think I'm gonna do it up the top. build.target, and we're just going to go ES 2021. All right. I'm just going to hope for the best. All right, it looks like it's working. But view property replace all, it's still having a problem in here. I'm just going to close it. Just going to close that. I'm just going to reopen up this ts config. I'm just going to see if there's a build options. Trace resolution, target, no. False alert. Alright, not a problem. What we can do is we can go TypeScript, build target. Yes. Alright, so target. Oop. Modern browsers all support the ES6 features, so ES6 is a good choice. You might choose to set a lower target if your code is deployed on an older environment. I don't know when ES6 came out. History. Okay, yep. 2015. Alright, cool. So in here, we don't have target like that. All right, not a problem. Where do we put the target then? There's that. Target setting changes with the JS features that are down leveled, which are left intact. For example, an arrow function. This will be turned into the equivalent function expression. All right, cool. Changes the target also set to that. All right, cool. Alright, another thing which that issue could be caused by is the linting. So if I go back into the search in here, I've got this in here. So no, that's not going to work. What is this? Prettier. So JS pretty target version. Okay, yeah, they've got that as that. JSconfig.json. I should get rid of it like that. Ah, cool. Done. Perfect. Oh, wait, no, it came back. Damn it. View property. Replace all does not exist on type string. You need to change your target library. Try changing libcompiler option to ES 2021. We've just did that. Alright. Where's our Vite stuff? So, vconfig, build target that. And Scove Stead, welcome. Currently starting up my last bachelor project using Nux 4. Ooh, super excited about it. Oh, fair enough. How are you going? Hopefully you're going well. I'm just figuring out why this is here and what I could do. Alright, I'm just going to copy this and just Google it because someone's definitely done this before. So I want to use the replace all TypeScript in Angular 10, but I got that. All right, cool. This is my code. Easy done. Output. How do I fix this function? You should be able to add those things to your tsconfig.json. Add es2021 string to lib inside a compiler options. Oh, okay, cool. So let's quickly undo what I've just done. So we've got this. We'll just remove that for the moment. We'll be fine with that. Remove that. We didn't do any changes in that. And then what we need to do, so compiler options. So that will be up the top. Compiler options, cool. We're going to open it up as an object. We've then got lib. We've got it like that. And then inside, oh, it's an array. All right, cool. We're going to do that es2021 dot string. I don't think it wants that. You're doing very well. That's great to hear. You're guessing your problem has something to do with the code being transpiled to an older version of ES, right? Yeah, pretty much. And I think this is it. I just need to put in the compiler options. I'm relearning TypeScript, so I've forgotten a lot. Let's just say that. And I'm implementing TypeScript with VueJS, and it still is throwing up an issue. Did you need to change your type? Hey, get that back there. ES 2021 or later. Your target library. Okay, so this just said to do that, the replace all method is defined in the lib strings.test as follows. All right, cool. Yeah, this removes the lint error, but when I try to run, I get an error. Argument for lib option must be. All right. I mean, I can also do it with the global flag. Nothing wrong with doing it with the global flag. Yeah, we'll just do it with the global flag. That's easy. God, we have Stack Overflow. Have you tried restarting the TS server? No, I haven't. That's actually a good idea. I am going to do that. There we go. And then I'm just going to close that file. I'm going to reopen it. It's still throwing up an issue. But you know what? This, once again, this is all mocking up. I'm just doing mock-ups and stuff like that. So I'm happy to sort of go, all right, that isn't working. We'll just remove all of that. I'll be fine with doing a global functionality. So in this sort of case, I do believe it'll be just a replace, and then it'll be underscore. And then it will be / we don't need to worry about that, and it'll be one like that, and then it'll be something like that. Not quite. All right. Regex remove underscore. So it's just / and then that. That's what I thought I did. And then / for the global, but it might have to be 2 / for the global. Not yet. All right. Control Shift P. I'm using PyCharm. So yeah. I mean, I can close it and reopen it. I mean, that's not hard. I just do that. Yeah, no problem. I'll just close it. I'll reopen it. I'll take a little while reopening. This is where it just crashes everything. Happens on stream. Happens all the time. Or it just never wants to open again. Alright, let's do a quick replace all. And I just realized that I did get rid of the config options in here, the compiler options. So compiler options, we want the lib. Yeah, we want it like that. We don't want decorators, sorry. We want to put on ES 2021.string because that should contain what we need. And then if we go into the search, it disappears for a little while and then it reappears. But it works, and that's the thing. So if I do something, I think I know what I was doing wrong before. All right, give me a couple of seconds. But yeah, the replace all just doesn't want to work, but that's not a problem. We're going to use the global functionalities. So in here, what I want to do is we want to do /_/G. And we're going to go back into here, done. All right, so what I did before was I put it in single quotes, so it was acting as a string and not recursive and stuff like that. It could be an IDE caching error. Tell you what, we are going to test it just in case. Doesn't hurt me. So compiler options, what we want to do is that, and then we want to do lib, and then we want to do that, and then we want to do ES 2021.string. We're going to leave it like that. We're going to do a full just exit type of thing. And we're just going to wait for a little while. All right. And then we're just going to go into here. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go destination.replace all, and I'm just going to do that again as a new line, and yeah, it comes back with the red text. All right, not a problem. We've got a working solution. This replace with the global regex. I'm going to say that's perfect. We are going to bring this back down because yeah, we're trying to make this as lean as possible. I don't think I put anything in there. That's perfectly fine. The prettier, I don't think I put anything in there. That's perfectly fine. That should all work. Still very readable. Now we've got everything in proper case and so forth with that. Cool. All right. Weird things happen around me. Don't you worry about that. There is a quote. Some people, when confronted with a problem, think, I know, I'll use regular expressions. Now they have two problems. I love it. I love it. Yep. It's a good quote. And then you got XKCD with the the regular expressions where, you know, whenever I learn a new skill, I concoct elaborate fantasy scenarios where it lets me save the day, and then it's like, oh no, the killer must have followed her on vacation, but to find them we'll need to search through 200 megabytes of emails looking for something formatted like an address. It's hopeless. And then everyone stand back, I know regular expressions comes in, doesn't pearl, and then done, they found it. And then wait, forgot to escape a space, wee, wee. An old classic XKCD. Alright, so we were working on accessibility, we just got sidetracked, and the reason why we got sidetracked is because we needed to actually fix this text up here. So the idea being is, if someone were to go onto this page, if we inspect this particular element itself, it's got the ID of the title and the main class. The ARIA label is stuck to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close all of these other config stuff because we're now back here. So labeled by, and I think I made a mistake. I have made a mistake. It should be labeled by and then main title. So the screen readers will hit this main sort of tab and be like, all right, this is what the person's doing on this particular page. I just remember in school learning regex in class. After that class, everyone just looked at each other and reconsidered if the education was even worth it. Yeah. I mean, it is a very powerful tool, regex, not gonna lie, but it's a very confusing tool too. So, yeah. Like the regex for determining something is an email. Yeah, it's confusing as hell. I'm not gonna pretend that I know any of this. Because I'm not good at regex at all. So yeah, it's like, here's a diagram, finite state of the, which is clearer. And it's just like, holy hell. And thank you very much, Scovidstead. Welcome, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content as we sort of build up NearBeach again. So yeah, we're doing a sort of mock thing at the moment. We're taking a vertical slice of NearBeach and we're doing a lot of improvement. So accessibility isn't currently in NearBeach, which is a pity, just because I didn't know how to properly implement it at the time. And I'm like, you know what, whilst we're doing the whole UI UX redesign, I'm going to implement it properly. So yeah, today we're setting up the mock to sort of state this is how we're going to tackle this moving forward. So yeah, so we've got the ARIA label now done for the main title. We're kind of happy with that. Yeah, so that should be fine. So when someone goes to the Kanban board, boom, it'll be like, all right, search Kanban board. If someone goes to the new project, it'll be like, boom, new project. I'm just going to do an error page. So not found. So we've got to do ID equals main title. Easy done. All right, and that might be one of our tests that we push through, is for components that need to actually have that. We'll write in test case. So if someone deletes it, it'll be like, hey, accessibility. All right, landmarks. So landmark provides programmatic access to sections within an application. Users who rely on assistive technology can navigate to each section of the application and skip over content. You can use the ARIA roles to help you achieve this. So we've got the header, role banner, so prime heading, title of the page. All right, cool. Yeah. Yeah, we should be setting that. All right, I'm just going to minimize everything. We're going to open up NearBeach. We're going to open up the index. We should have, we just got the head. We don't actually have a header. All right. Okay. And yeah, that will be part of the banner. It might be one of those things that I think, should the nav bar belong under the header? Then we've got nav, role navigation. All right, cool. So that's something that we should do. Supports main content, yet is separate and meaningful on its own content. We got complementary. I'm going to do a little bit more research around that one. So I'm just going to close these particular ones at the moment. I'm going to open up our source. I'm going to open up our components. We will soon sort these out, but that's perfectly fine. We've got our app. So we've got our skip link. That's perfectly fine. We're skipping all that. The navbar components, I am going to go into that. So go into that implementation. Sorry. Go into that. That's Command B. All right, cool. So we're in here. So we've got nav. What we want to do is we want to add in the role navigation up here. But I won't have much in the way of navigation. Essentially, the nav bar just has the search. It originally had all the drop downs and so forth like that, but we're using the aside for that. Now, that might be incorrect and I might need to redo this, but that's why we're doing a mock-up first. So we're just going to go over here and go aside nav bar accessibility examples. All right, so this person's asking semantic differences between nav and aside for navigation in HTML. Now this is closed. This is about asked 9 years ago. All right, modified 4 years ago. Yeah, it's definitely opinion based. All right, you shouldn't use aside in this case. It is your navigation, so the nav element is the best choice here. There's no point in using a side element just because something gets displayed in the sidebar. The choice whether a side should depend on the content and its purpose in the content, not on the CSS. A side is generally related to content, but the primary navigation is hardly only tangentially. All right, cool. And that's a good point. The red box would be a side. Inside of that, the blue box would be the nav. And that's another thing that I could potentially do, is we can put all of those as navbar elements inside the aside. There's a good blog post for it, but once again, that's nearly 9 years old, this post. And the problem is, within the last 10 years, there's been a lot of changes. Let's just zoom in, and this one has been updated on, only 3 years ago. So if you carefully plan the structure of HTML documents, you can help computers make sense of the meaning of your content, which is what we want to do. Proper syntax is important for sure, but it is basically just provides parsers, search engines, and assisted technologies with a meaningless bunch of data. If you improve your front-end workflow with paying attention to semantics, you can create a higher quality content that attracts more visitors. Semantics is the study of meaning. In a broader context, it's a branch of logic and linguistics. In the world of web development, we talk about semantic content with computers understanding the structure of a document and the roles of the elements inside it. If we want to create proper semantics, we need to deeply understand the structure of our content and the capabilities of the front-end technology. So what are the tangible benefits? Proper semantic means more searchable content that leads to better search results, engine rankings, and so forth like that. We don't need to worry about search results or anything like that because this is a web application. We want to, we also increase accessibility, which is our main provocative today, as assistive technologies such as screen readers can do and can better interpret the meaning of our content. There are many different front-end developer techniques that enable developers to achieve a semantic page structure. This blog post will help you. All right, cool. Yep, I am just going to run through this. A form image, none. All right, cool. No, don't you dare do that to my screen. Thank you very much, sweetie. Good for, yep, all right, articles, yep, nav, for navigation blocks, such as sidebars. There's a fifth section in HTML5, but it's not new. It's the body tag, the header, and the footer tags are also new, but they don't generate new sections and often delete. All right, cool. So it might be one of those things that I move stuff to. And Sam Fernandez, we have a Discord. Sorry, I'm a bit busy to actually check out stuff at the moment, so feel free to post it in the Discord. And yeah, I can get to it after stream. Ooh, we've just reached another ad break. All right, welcome, welcome. You can see socks is right there. I am realizing that, oh, my cup of tea has run out. I am going to hit the kettle up and get myself some more tea so I can think. I will be right back. Don't cause trouble, socks. Alright, whilst that's boiling, yeah, got about 45 seconds left of the ads. For those on YouTube wondering what's happening, we have ads running on Twitch every half an hour. It's to stop the pre-rolled ads, which suck. And it gives me a little break sometime. So yeah, and you get to see socks up close and personal. Oh. There she is. Look at her causing trouble. Saying I'm not causing trouble. Yes, yes you do. Alright. We've got about 10 seconds left of the ads. And yeah. Hopefully everyone's going well tonight. Okay, welcome back everyone. Let's jump back into it. So we could move our navigation to the header component. That would make sense. We can then put the nav block around the for the aside stuff. That would also make sense. The other sort of thing we could potentially do is get rid of the aside tag. The only reason why we used it is when we actually did some research for the sidebars and stuff like that, they were using aside. So we can do some more research, see what other people use and why they're using it. Yeah, it's always body. Yep. As always, the first header element. Yep. All right. Sections defined by the nav and aside tags don't belong to the main outline of the HTML document. They're usually not rendered initially by assistive technologies. Ooh, all right. Each section can have their own header footer tags that defines header, such as logos, the author name, dates, and all right, cool. So in here they've got header, then they've got nav header over here. Then they've got articles, and then they've got the side. All right, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, oh sorry, ignored. I do apologize. And then the footer, take a look at the snippet above. All right, I mean, we can change this around, that's not gonna be a problem. I'm just gonna go as nav bar side bar example. that. I don't know what this is. Oh, they've got like oh, all right. I'm just going to inspect this. That's the whole div, the section div. That's the div ID. Oh, no, they don't have it as an nav bar. Right, not a problem. And we'll go all the way back to our search. We're going to bring up Bootstrap. So Bootstrap, if we actually click on that and have a look at it, they've just got it as a div class under main. Oh, but this is an example sort of setup page. All right, I'm going to go to the latest. I'm just going to type in sidebar. I'm going to hit navbar instead. So navbar, how it works. They've got it as off campus. Okay, but still it's a navbar. All right. That's something we might actually end up doing. However, that being said, do they have other examples? They've just got the dark menu. Extended content, no. Because that's how we got it at the moment, that particular one. If I could, do I use AI models to help me code? Not in the way that you think. So I treat AI models like I treat Wikipedia. It's a great place to sort of start if you're sort of researching what you want to do. However, I like to code it myself. The AI stuff's great for boilerplate stuff, but if you start getting into more complicated stuff, it's best that you know how to actually solve that problem. And also remember, a programmer, the idea of a programmer is to solve problems using the tools that they've got and the knowledge that they have. If you rely too much on AI, you essentially don't know how to solve these problems. You're relying on that tool too much. When if that tool is taken away from you, you're quite useless. So yeah. A good analogy is a builder doesn't just hammer things in, they can also screw things in too. So if their hammer is taken away, they can at least use a screw. Yeah, and the only way to stop doing that is just to start getting it to give you ideas, but not exactly give you ideas, but not to give you code. So let's do an example. Hey, chat. I hope you are going well. I am trying to understand how the Doom engine renders the walls. Can you please provide some pseudo code for me, as I want to actually use myself as a learning experience. Thank you, and give it a love heart. So you could do something like that, where it would sort of give all of this out in a way which you could go through and sort of understand it and break it down into smaller and smaller tasks and solve those smaller tasks. and stuff like that. However, it's given me now the code, which is annoying as hell. Damn it. I told you not to. Yeah. Have a great day. All right. So yeah, the idea is, yeah, start coding without it as much as possible. It's okay for it to give you ideas and so forth like that, or if, for example, you don't know what something is called, for example, dependency injection. Let's say you just don't know what that is, and you can try to explain to it what you're looking for and what it is, and it might come back with it, and then you can go off to Google and actually search documentation around that for your particular language. All right, I'm going to quickly run and get my cup of tea. I won't be long. All right, got my cup of tea. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to put the headset back on, or the headphones back on. Oop. Yeah, hang on. I keep dropping them. All right. So one thing I do want to do is, yeah, I do want to change this all around. That's not going to be a problem. I'm not going to do that on today's stream. I'm going to write this down as feedback. All right, cool. Need to migrate navbar to header and aside to navbar. All right, cool. No problem. Shouldn't take too long to implement. All right, so we've got this. Now I'm actually gonna change this straight away to header. We're going to go over here. This will be banner. It's done. It's just got the search bar up there. I do need to sort of change all of this now, which is a bit annoying, but I can just do a find and replace. So I'm just going to go nav bar and I'm just going to type in header, and I'm just going to replace all on this page. That should just work. Cool. I need to go into the app itself now. That would be not the navbar component. That will now be the header component. We need to change that to header. I need to change this now into header. Header component. All right. And Frankie, how are you going? How are you going? Well, this is Socks. She's here on most streams. She's making sure I code correctly. Talking about coding correctly, I just absolutely did the wrong thing. Got to do that. I'm just going to paste that over there, and then we're going to do this aside component as the navbar component now. So yeah, that should still work over here if we hit refresh. I know that, ooh, we've got a bit of pink now. That just means I've got to fix some things up in the header component. So if I go to the top and go nav, yeah, we don't have that anymore. do have that. There it is. So we've got the header there, and then that should, boom. You only have a rubber duck, don't you worry. I also have a rubber duck too. And an elephant in the room. Alright, now we've got the aside open functionality. We're going to have to rename that, but that's not going to be a problem. It'll be navbar open, nav open I should say. That's going to be the new thing. We do need to actually rename this now. So define store to use aside store. This is define store aside. I'm going to go nav. Use nav store. Is nav open. I'm a little tossed up whether to say nav bar or nav. And it's going to bite me in the ass, no matter what I pick. Okay, so we've just done all of that. We now need to, rename this to nav.ts. Am I happy with Vue? I hear the experience is better than React. I am actually happy with Vue. I don't use React enough to actually state whether or not it's a better experience. I've just been using Vue for a long time. I have used React for a little bit here and there, but it's only for very small things. It's nothing as large as what I'm going to be doing. So yeah. Alright, so I'm happy with all of that. I'm going to close that. This now then becomes the use aside store. So that becomes use nav store. And then that then becomes use nav store. And then that becomes nav. And then that also becomes nav store. And then we change that stock. So will you stop trying to destroy my monitor, please? Is nav open. And then socks, stop it. This is what socks does sometimes. She'll sit on the keyboard or something silly like that. Nav store. Oh, did we do the toggle? All right, that would be toggle nav. Okay, cool. So what's your favorite? What would you like to work with? Do you miss working in the big FWs? I'm not a fan. No. Sorry, I mucked up. I didn't mean to say I'm not a fan. I'm not. I don't mind what framework I use. I'm not a fan of picking one over the others. I'm happy to use whatever I need to get the job done. So yeah, I'm okay with learning a new framework. I'm okay with learning a new programming language and stuff like that. I'm willing to learn those things. I'm willing to get better and so forth like that. So yeah. I wouldn't mind trying other frameworks, just so I can see how you do stuff with them and stuff like that. So yeah, every single language, every single framework has problems. They have quirks. Essentially, you just try and work around those particular problems and quirks, and I don't mind that. All right, the next thing I want to do is I've got to get rid of that one now. So that one is import down. Use nav store. Socks. Stop it. She's like pressing stuff on the keyboard. If you're wondering what's actually happening, and it's causing me to lose where I am. Alright, and then I need to close that. I need nav store.is nav open. With this, it'll be nav store.toggle nav. We get rid of that. We're all happy with all of that. That's not going to be a problem. That will be nav open now. I said we weren't going to fix this, but I'm like, screw it. I'm going to fix it because it's going to cause me issues. All right. I'm just going to rename all of these first. I don't know why my phone's going off. Oh, okay, yep, no, that's fine. I really should put my phone on silent. This is, yeah, I'm just gonna name it nav at the moment. We're breaking everything, and that's fine. Once again, this is literally just a mock-up, designed so that we will come across these problems, fix them up in this vertical slice, make sure we're happy with how everything's going to fit in, how everything's named, and so forth like that, before we sort of go, all right, cool, now we can expand everything out. So, yeah. All right, so we've got all of that, and now the next thing I need to do in here, we need to delete that. I'm just going to go import nav component like that. We're just going to go down here. We're just going to go nav component. We're all happy with that. That means that page is all fixed. We're then going to go into the nav menu. We're just going to go import nav menu items. We're just going to delete that. In here, we're just going to do the find and replace. I wish that the shortcut would work for this, but it doesn't. So we're just going to go find, replace, and we're going to find aside, and we're going to replace it with nav in here. Yeah, all right. And we've got to do it with the capital case too. Like that. We're just gonna fetch and replace. That should work. Nav menu item. Nav menu item. Yep, that will work perfectly fine. I think failed to import components nav aside menu. I've just got to go down through the whole entire list. All right, not a problem. The interface, we're not worried about. That's perfectly fine. That, hang on, destination icon rat, menu interface. Yep, we're fine with that. The next thing is nav component. We're just going to do the find and replace here too. It'll just be really easy to do this. We just go replace. We've got a side with the nav. We just go replace, and then we lowercase everything. And we go to aside, and then the nav, and then we replace everything. Yeah, that should work. Famous last words. We should also jump over here. We gotta go find, replace. We've got the side. There's no results whatsoever, so we're just going to do something like that. We're going to do something like that. It found nothing. We must have done this one already. Navbar menu. We're just going to go back in here, and we're just going to go find and replace. We've got the side to the side. We're just going to replace all and be like, sweet, done. We're just going to do all of that and do all of that, and then we're just going to go replace, and you're like, done. All right, navbar skeletons. These ones should be less likely to have something in here. We're going to go find and hang on, let me click on ya. Find, replace. We've got no sides. we've got no, oops. That one's fine. We're moving on to the settings, and we're just going to do this. We're going to go find and replace. We've got the aside and side. We're just going to replace. Done. Perfect. We're going to do it with that. We're just going to replace everything. We're fine with that. And then if we go over here now, everything just works again. If we click on over here, we've got the nav bar. We're going to move the nav close. So that's perfectly fine. We've got the nav bar now. We've got the header. We just need the role for the nav bar. We can do the we've got the NearBeach logo and all that kind of stuff. We do set this down and stuff like that. I might have to play around with the nav bar a little bit more, and the reason being is I need to sort of set it out so screen readers can read it. However, that being said, if we go into the nav component now and we scroll up, we've got the nav bar up here, then we can go role equals navigation, and that should be fine for us. So with the accessibility, we've got role, we've got to do role for the main, so I'm just going to close that. We're going to open up this, we're going to go down here, we've got the title by, which we're happy with, and then we need the role equals the main, sweet, oops, way too much there. The footer we don't actually have, the aside we don't actually have anymore. We've just removed that, we've put that as the nav bar. We do actually have a search. So that is something which we do kind of want to do. So up at the top of the page, we have a search. And what I'm going to do is with the header component, we've got the header, we've got the template, we've got the div, we've got the header search. We can actually just change this to search. And then at the end of it, we can go role equals search. That way, that should do what we want to do. We don't have any forms at the moment, and we don't have any sections. Yeah, and we've got a bit of reading to do with what we want to do. So for example, with the navigation, containing a collection of navigation elements, usually links for navigating the document or related documents. Users should treat elements with the role of navigation as navigational landmarks. So, yeah, all right, cool. So yeah, I will go through all that documentation. It's going to take me ages to get through it all. All right, semantic forms. Whoa. All right, when creating a form, you can use. God damn it, I did it again. You can use the following elements: form, label, import, text area, and button. Labels are typically placed. Now, with the search forms, on the form element will apply to all inputs on your form. You can set the values ordered for each input. All right. So with the search, we're going to go up here, auto complete off, because we don't want people auto completing it. But it's not going to be in a form. And we haven't actually figured out how we're going to actually get the search to work. This is the thing with the mock-up. Mock-it-up will sort of ask people what they expect. So in Jira, when you're searching the form, and it pops down with a little tiny thing, and you can sort of go through those particular search results. We could potentially do that, or we could take the user to the search page, because it'll be very quick for the modal to, the route to change, and for that value to feed through. The alternative to that is we'll probably end up removing it because there's different areas of how to search. yeah, we haven't decided how that functionality is going to work now. So we've got the labels, yeah, they will be connected and all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah, so we're going to skip the forms for the moment. We're going to avoid placeholders as they can confuse many users. One of the issues placeholders is they don't meet color contrast criteria by default. Fixing the colors, yeah. And yeah, that does actually have something to do. Ooh, that stopped working. All right, I'm just gonna remove the autocomplete just in case it was that. Actually, I think I know why. I think it's because, stop it, naughty. All right, I think it's also, I've just found a side in here. We're gonna go open nav, and I'm gonna do a full sweep of the site. We have that. We have that. And we have that. All right, cool. Just refreshing everything. Our input isn't working. That might be something that I just remove from the header bar. Oh, and we've just hit an ad break. Terribly sorry. There we go. Get to see Socks again. She's finally like in a good spot where she's not exactly blocking me. However, she might get attacked by the elephant. There we go. Sorry. I gotta entertain myself sometimes. She does actually play with it a lot too. So if I actually have it like face her, she'll notice it and she'll actually start attacking it. So, yeah. There we go, she's like sniffing it now and then she'll, oh no, she didn't attack it. Oh, all right. Would have been cute though. Anyway, welcome back. So, the one thing I might do is I might remove that search bar. Because I had it there for a reason. I had it there because it was in one of the designs and I was like, I really do like that. However, that being said, yeah, I feel like I feel like I don't need it. I feel like this should be kept simple. Which DC channel can I use to just join our Discord? Give me 2 seconds. There we go. I should also wake up Nightbot on YouTube because Nightbot has not been speaking. All right. So it does that now. Now we're missing that icon. But that's not going to be a problem. I'll fix up the nav bar next. Because the header should be all like that, and then inside we've got the header, yep, and then inside the class header I'm just going to get rid of that. We don't need that anymore because now we've just got 2 items. The header we can just delete those. We can just paste that in like that. The padding we can get rid of that one. And we can just key it into here. Oops, that's meant to be 4 pixels. There we go, that's perfectly fine. Give me a second. Just making sure, oh, it is offbeat there. It's not a problem, we'll fix up this very, very quickly. What I want to do, nav open, yep, that's perfectly fine. Width.calc, all right, cool. That will happen there. We no longer need the header. And then header show menu. Actually, we no longer need how to show menu. Yeah, that needs to be like that. That's fine. Profile image, yep, that's perfectly fine. The label transform, that just needs to disappear. I just need to fix up that. I don't think there's a translate anywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch that a little bit. We've got the header. All right, we've got 263. I think I know what's wrong. 255 plus 8 is 263. Yes. All right. View width. I've got the padding, which is causing issue. So the padding is 10 pixel on each side, so we need to remove that to be that. Whoops. Gotta do it the other way. So we've got it like that. However, that being said, yeah. No problem. To do flex direction, justify content, space between. That will work like that. I've just got to do this where it'll be 83. Then we go in here. That's perfectly fine. We're gonna move this one little icon soon. So nav open. When its width is that, we've got to. Ooh. This is where we've got that, so we're going to actually calculate the 100% view width. We've then got to take into consideration the 20 pixel padding that we're applying. Get rid of that, that works perfectly fine. Now, the idea is, one recommendation is to actually move that nav, the little menu, so it always appears here. So if someone accidentally clicks on it, they can click on it without having to move their mouse. It should be pretty obvious. Robotic head. We're also getting rid of this little cross here, which I can do right now. That's part of the navbar component. It's just these 3 lines. We get rid of that, and then we get rid of the close stuff down here. And then that should work perfectly fine. There we go. And then, yeah. But yeah, the idea being is that this menu bar will probably stay there. I'll probably end up putting the logo in here and then making it so that the nav bar doesn't change its size to do that. Instead, the aside will appear down here. So yeah, figuring it out. I've also got to figure out how that will work on mobile phone and how we want to look on mobile phone. But let's get back into the accessibility. So I've just done a bunch of changes with the accessibility. We're not going to do any of the form stuff at the moment. Instructions, when adding instruction to your input field, make sure you link to the correct input. You can provide additional instructions and bind multiple IDs inside an area labeled. This allows for a more flexible design. So we've got the legend, label, current date, input, label by, so we've got the date label, all right, which will be that, and then date instructions. Date instructions, all right, cool. I like that. Alternatively, you can attach the instructions with aria described by, which date of birth instructions, yep, date of birth, all right, cool, yeah. Hiding content usually is not recommended to visually hide labels even if the input has accessible name. However, if the functionality of the input can be understood with surrounding context, then we can hide the visual label. Let's have a look at this search. Label, search, and so forth like that. So import and then model search. We can do this because the search button will help visual users identify the purpose of the input field. We can use CSS elements to hide, but keep the available for assistive technologies. So position, absolute, overflow, hidden, white space, no wrap margin. So all of that. All right, cool. So the height and width will be 1 pixel. So yeah. Aria hidden equals true. Adding aria hidden equals true will hide the element from assisted technologies but leave it visually available for other users. Do not use it on focal elements, purely on decorative. So what I could potentially do is, for example, the logo, that's something I would put on the logo. So yeah. Buttons, when using buttons inside a form, you must set the type to prevent submitting the form. You can also import, use an import to create the buttons. All right. So yeah, button type, button submit. Okay, cool. So yeah, I've just got to implement those. Functional images, you can use this technique to create functional images, import field. These images will act as a submit type buttons on forms. Okay. Yep, form, role, search, hidden visually. All right, cool. Oh, with icons. All right, so they're using aria hidden equals true, span hidden visually, search. All right, cool. That is something I might do. Actually right now, because we've got the menu bar, we've got the little icon and so forth like that. And we can just hide all the other ones very quickly and easily. All right, so we're gonna redo the nav. So first things first, I'm going to close all tabs. We're going to deal with the header component first. So with the header, when the nav is open, we're not going to worry about that calculation anymore. We're just going to close it. We're just going to delete the search model. I don't think we need the store anymore. We're not worried about the class at all because we're no longer manipulating it. So we're just going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of that icon. We've got the menu. It looks like, yeah, clean code. A lot of fun. So we no longer need to, we still need to, actually, no, I lied. We still need the store, sorry. So we've got the store. That's to toggle open and close the nav, but we no longer need those computed elements. I'm happy with all of this. We're also going to put in the logo in here. So I'm going to open up the nav component, if we scroll all the way up to the top, we have the NearBeach logo. So I'm just gonna delete that from there. We've got this. I'm going to paste that into there. And we've just got it as the ARIA label NearBeach logo. I'm gonna remove it. ARIA, and what do we want? Hidden equals true. We don't need them to find this logo whatsoever. Now, I do need to actually move over the NearBeach logo stuff. So the nav bar is all fine and dandy. It's this NearBeach logo that we want to cut out of there. We do want to just do it down here, and we just want to do NearBeach logo. Perfect. Like that. And then we'll just clean up this a little bit better. Now, the next thing we want to do is if we go over here, so that's looking good. We'll flesh out that logo properly at another date. I've noticed that it's got a height of 27, margin top of 7. We'll fix that up in right this second. So we're going to go into the nav component. We are actually, no, sorry, the header component. We are just going to scroll down to here, and we're going to go ARIA hidden equals false. Actually, we ARIA label equals menu or toggle menu. Ooh, all right. Just having a quick think. Because yeah, we want that hidden. Alright, but we want to actually put in a span in here and then hidden visually. So I'm just going to copy this. Just going to paste it in. That's perfectly fine. We're going to change this very, very quickly. So hidden visually, this will be toggle menu. This is where I could be very specific about what goes into here. So instead of toggle menu, because the user's blind, they don't know if it's open or closed. We're going to actually specify if it's open or closed. So up here, what we got is we're going to do a computed method. We now have to import computed from the view stuff. All right. So what I want to write is const toggle menu text equals computed. We're just going to do that. And what I want to do is we want to return, and if the nav store dot is nav open, and we want to say close navigation menu, or we want to say open navigation menu. Pretty easy stuff. And then what I can do down here is just something like this, and we want to go toggle menu text. Right, so I'm happy with that. This will be invisible. Now the next thing I've got to do is I've got to actually have a class. This will be great globally. We definitely don't want this scoped. So I want to go into our assets, our CSS. We've got a couple of things in there. I'm going to do another one and call it accessibility. I can't spell. All right, I'm just double checking the spelling of it. I know I can't spell it. There we go. .css. We've just got that in, and then what we're going to do is it's going to be hidden visually. Now, in here, what they've actually got a good example of it up here. Hidden visibly, we're just going to copy all of that. We're just going to jump down here, we're just going to paste it. And then we're going to delete those 6 lines, actually those 5 lines, and that's it. So position is absolute, overflow is hidden, white space is no wrap. We've got margin 0, padding 0, we've got height 1, width 1, clip rectangle, and clip path is insert 100%, or inset 100%. So that shouldn't render on the page whatsoever. If we go over here, oh, it is at the moment. Now I've got to programmatically close that. Give me a couple of seconds. I'm just going to this store. Okay, so it is actually showing, which is really annoying. If I go inspect, and I do this, do we have the right class? Possibly not. I'm possibly screwed up on that. Not a problem. We're gonna fix this next. These icons, not going to be a problem. What we're going to do is they will be the nav menu item. And what we want to do is we just want to go aria, hidden, extrude. That's it. That's all we need to do for those. With the plus, this is where we, once again, we've got to do that visually hidden stuff again. So aria hidden is true. We've got the plus. That should still be like that. And then what I'm very much like the hidden one, we're just gonna grab this. We're just gonna paste it in. We're gonna change this. This will actually be the will be the object, won't it? Define class is fine. Yeah, that's all fine. I'm just thinking of a name. Toggle text. So, what we're going to do? Const. Screen reader. New object, text. Easy done, equals, computed. We're just going to do that. At the moment, we're just going to return nothing. That's perfectly fine. What I actually want to do is we're just going to copy that. We're just going to paste it in like that. Up here, what we're going to do is we're going to grab the route and we're going to grab the last item of the route. So this will be const route name equals route dot name dot toString dot toLowerCase. Actually, the casing doesn't matter. We'll just do that. And then what we just need to do. Yeah, I know socks. Come here. I'm just checking the route stuff. So we're gonna go into the route. We've got the name, new project, and all of that. Oh. Yeah, no socks. This is going to be difficult doing it programmatically. So I can take the first object. Yeah. I don't think I can pass things through here, which is annoying. If I can do that, that would be great, because then I could put in, like, let's say the destination in here. So I could go destination, and then I could go dashboard, like so. But this is going to have a problem. And then if I do the routes itself, so let's go. Yeah, this is gonna. Yeah, object little does not exist in this type, and I can't extend the route types, and yeah. All right, not a problem. That's something I could potentially look at doing to see if I can actually extend this and then pass extra information through. Yeah. But at the moment, what I'm going to do is we're going to have the route name. We're going to have it like that. I'm going to have a fallback called unknown. That. That's way, if it's null or undefined, it will pop up something. What I wanted to do is, let's open up this. Let's bump this off to the left. Let's go into the code itself. Let's go var equals, and then let's go project, and then let's say new. If we go a dot split by a / we've got 3, but the first one will always be like that, and then we get the second one. All right. Make a router.t.ts. And just extend the view router. Yeah, that's an idea. I won't do that tonight though, just because I'm just getting distracted by side quests. But yeah, no, that's a good idea. Because then I can add in stuff that I need. I can add in like the destination, whether it's we're creating something or not, and from that data we can, you know, do stuff. But I don't know how long that will take. So at the moment, we're just going to go, all right, cool. We'll figure out a programmatic way of doing these routes. We're going to have problems when we're dealing with child components and how they will work. But once again, we'll get to those soon. Let us mock out how this is going to work. I keep dropping these little ball things I'm playing with. All right, so I'm just going to go console.log. I'm just going to say router name. We're just going to deal it with like that at the moment, and then we're going to return nothing. That will be fine. This is just us testing stuff. So I'm going to hit refresh for the page. I'm just going to jump onto the, I didn't want route name, sorry. However, that is something that works. That is something that really works very well. All right, and then route name equals route name dot replace new. I should do that as lowercase. New with nothing. And then we'll go down here. And that is create new dollars, and then we've got the route name. And that, in a theory, should work. There we go. Create new project, create new, oh, they're all projects. That should be task. I screwed that up. Not a problem. That's just part of data. And I believe that's part of the navbar menu. Oh, it's the current route. That's the problem. Oh, we've got a solution. Anyway, not a problem. It's not as hard as we thought. So, in fact, I could get rid of that computed element. We can go down here. We'll get rid of all of this. I was just not thinking properly. So, create new, and then we just go destination and done. That's it. I don't know why I was overcomplicating that. Let's step back, make it simple, easy, done. I don't need to worry about extending anything or do anything like that. And then when we refresh, we've got create new Kanban board on that, create new requirement, and so forth like that. The next thing I've got to do is I've got to deal with the label now disappearing properly. But because we got it on this now, I can just hover over that. I can click on that. I'm going to bump that off to the left. I'm going to double check that you guys can still see that. If I do something like that, I think you guys should. So we've got the hidden visually. Now the reason why that isn't working is if I go into the main CSS, I'm not importing it at all. And I should be going at import accessibility. In fact, that should actually be up at the top like that. And done. All right, cool. Now, another thing which I should be having a look at is the overflow stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna tackle that next. Oops, I keep dropping the balls. Cool, so let's get this lined up perfectly first. So on here, it should be 40. All right, cool. The header itself, I'm just gonna click on computed. We should have, it doesn't matter. I'll click on this. We'll go navbar right here. I might need to get rid of that one. I've got to clean up a lot of this, but that's perfectly fine. With the rules, we got the width, we got the padding. I'm gonna, now that works perfectly fine. We've got the top. And what I gotta do is, I'm just gonna move it down until we see that hot pink. So 45 pixels is gonna be the top. In here, what we're gonna do is, we're just gonna close all of these tabs. We're fine with that. We're gonna go navbar component. We're gonna go with the navbar. We've got the top, and we're gonna go 45 pixels. Now, on mobile phone, we'll need to actually change this. That's perfectly fine. On the small screen, we've got padding that, padding that. All right, cool. Now, the height itself is going to be a calc. It'll be 100 view height minus 45 pixels. We're also going to deal with the overflow of the X. We're going to put scroll in there. So if we refresh this now, notice how it sits really well. I'm going to get rid of some of that padding and all that margin and stuff like that. Not a problem, but the scroll functionality is not working in here. I can't get down to the logout section, which is not what we want. In fact, if we select all of this, the nav bar, yeah, it's... Oh, we're missing something, aren't we? Oh, the height. Oh. Should be 45. Whoops, my bad. Okay, easy done. Cool. 45. If I keep zooming in, all right, that works. So yeah, I'm gonna zoom just out just to 200 so you guys can still see it. We know it works. We're gonna clean up a lot of this now. So the nav bar itself, we've got the nav bar menu, we've got the nav bar settings. I feel like we can move this out into here properly. So if we got the nav bar, and we just paste these in, all right, that's got to be a flex. That's going to be fine. I'm going to get rid of that. And once again, we're just cleaning up code. This is all good. This is why it's a mock-up. We're literally mocking it up, we're fiddling with it, we're playing around with it, we're getting it to a point where we're happy. Now that is working wonders. If we zoom in, once again, really far, we can see that we can scroll in it. If I zoom back out to 200, yep, I'm gonna get rid of that padding at the top. That will be part of this, and we want it to be 100% still. Go in here, perfect. All right, now it does line up with that a little bit. I might talk to someone who's better at UI UX than I am to see what they think about having it line up directly with that, or should I add in a padding of 4 just to distinguish it from the header bar. But otherwise, we've got that popping out like that now. I'm very happy with how this is set up. And all of these labels should now be labeled how we want it. With these icons, if we hover over those icons, have a look at the span, we can see that they're hidden. We don't need that information there whatsoever because we've got the label right there for that. It's with this one, when they open it up, we've got it hidden, but then we've got the what it does right next to it, and that's just part of that A tag there. So that's what we've done. Standards, yeah, I've got to read those standards. abbreviated, poor, perceivable, users must be able to perceive the information being presented, operable, interface, yep, all right, understandable, all right, and robust. All right, cool. So I'm gonna hit refresh. We are going to hit that big W. I am going to pop that off to the right. And I believe we've got a lot less errors than we did at the start of the night. So let's get straight into it. So our 2 errors that we have: language missing or invalid. The language of this document is not identifiable, or the lang attribute value is. I had 6 at the start of the night. Nice. All right. Cool. We don't have any alerts. We have feature. All right, cool. We've got structure elements and we've got aria. All right, cool. The language of the document. Now this might be one of those things where I go view 3 document language. How to change the language of the view. All right, cool. Const choose language. Okay, that's not what I want, but we will be implementing language. I think it's just on the index itself. So if I minimize everything, I open up NearBeach, we'll open up the index.html. Yeah, we've got language up here. And it might be one of those things where view 3, best practice for updating the lang on HTML tag. Yeah. I'm using Vue interline Vue 18N, and I need to translate a sentence here. Obviously, yeah, we actually just want the okay, not what I wanted. That's talking about the plugin. This is also probably talking about the plugin and so forth like that. Might be something that I mutate the page the instant it loads up. So, or mutate the DOM, I should say. Let's go into the app. So on mounted, what we do is we do something like that. We can also do toggle the language of the page. And this is something which if we were to implement internalization, I18N, what I would potentially do is have a look at what we can do at the back end, see if I could pass some settings through and so forth like that. Otherwise, the other option is when we send them just a plain template, and then VueJS will then manipulate stuff on the DOM. I don't know what is best practice yet. I usually just set the HTML language to N and then render different pages, but why MMV? I don't know. Sorry, I'm terrible with acronyms. So yeah, the idea that I've been thinking of is when a user logs in and they hit the, let's say a dashboard page or any page whatsoever, let's say they get a link from an external source and it takes them to a task or something like that. The Django will send them a plain page, and then it actually requests whether or not they have permission to that object. And thank you very much for the follow, Lig Zerk. Welcome, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. So yeah, it's not impossible for me to go, all right, cool, I'm getting this data. I definitely need the user data too, because I need to fill out the nav bar. And at the same time, I could potentially deal with the language that way. So yeah. But I can default it to English like that and then manipulate it after the fact. So that would be, if we were doing that, let's say we're on here, let's say I just refresh, let's say I'm logged in, Django's happy that I'm logged in, and it takes me directly to this project page or the search project page. Once we get here, it will do a call to get the user data to make sure that, just to update the user's permissions and so forth like that, to essentially render out these correctly and also get the profile picture and all that kind of fun stuff. From there, we can get the user's language. And if it's different, we can change it. And I think that would be the best idea. So, yeah. All right. This is why I'm doing the mock-up, so I can do all this in the mock-up and get people to sort of judge how I've done it. If I go over a equals document dot get element by tag name, we can get the HTML tag. Oh, there's got to be a better way. All right, cool. HTML tag update language. Laying in, yep, I know. No. All right. I will have to figure this out at another date, because I can't just go HTML into here. Oh, it does bring it up. If I do something like that, I do get that. And then if I go lang equals that, if I do equals and then es, I don't know if that sets it. Hold on, inspector. Oh, it does. All right. Const lang equals document or English. Yeah. Document head. That's it. All right. Cool. I'm just gonna refresh because it goes back to normal. If I go document head dot lang equals, let's say es, does that set it? It does set it. All right. Cool. What I can do is alright, not implemented at page load, default to n, will update once the system gets the user's details. So yeah, cool. I'm gonna keep that, and thank you very much, Frankie. I'm gonna keep that in there for the moment. It's not gonna do anything because we'll default to English. The idea being is when a user loads up a page, assuming that they're logged in, it will fetch the user details after the fact because a lot of that doesn't change. And then, yeah. If we go into here now, oops, sorry, sucks. I've got to do this. We're gonna leave that there. I'm just gonna hit the reload button again because I'm just like that. Oh yeah, I've got to move that off to the right. So we're down to 1 error, which is good. Where is the error? View details. Error broken skip link. Oh. All right. Good point. So, accessibility. I've missed something. All right, so we've got this back to the top, class skip links. It goes to hashtag main, which if we actually have a look at the app itself, we don't have the, all right, cool. We don't have that in there, and that's it. I'm just gonna refresh, because that should have built in record timing. If we do that, 0 errors, sweet. We've got 4 features, we've got 0 alerts, we've got ARIA 19. All right, cool, view details, we've got all of that. We've got the skip link, we've got skip link target, we've got the language. All right, cool, I'm happy with that. We've got the structures, have a look, 3 unordered lists, sweet. Alright, we've got a bunch of ARIA headers, so yeah, we're getting there. I'm happy, and we did redesign quite a lot of this at the same time. So, what I want to do now is we've got the order, skip to do. Alright, cool, we've got the structure, we've got the contrast. Oh, yeah, we're passing all of that. Powered by WebAIM. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna hit refresh. So I'm just having a quick think. Okay, I think we're done with the accessibility for today because we're at the bottom of that document. I did kind of want to read a bit of this. We've got the preface. All right, cool. But at the same time, I think we've hit 90% of what we want. And then what we could do is we could look at the internalization stuff. Was made by the people that created the standard. Oh, nice. All right, cool. Cool. Anyway, I am going to be right back. I do apologize. I need to go to the bathroom. I've had too many cups of tea. I will be right back. let's get back into it. Sorry about that. Okay. So, I've broken a couple of things. I know I have. For example, on mobile, if we jump down into mobile mode, this doesn't work as well anymore. As you can tell, everything just does not work. We're gonna fix that up very, very quickly. So, one of the things I could potentially do is having a look at the header itself. We want to open up the app. We've got all that span. That icon definitely got to fix. We can definitely do something like that. Now, one problem is we've got the skip links, the style none. That's like that at the moment, and we got that. All right, cool. I'm just gonna go margin none, or 0, I should say. There we go. That will fix up that one, and then there'll be the header, and then the main. We'll get rid of that. Okay. Because we're simplifying things now, we're fixing up my mistakes. So I'm just going to close all of these. We're just going to minimize everything. We're just going to focus on that very, very, very quickly. We're going to open up the source. We're going to open up the components. We're going to open up first apps in here. We've got the skip links, so we're going to open up the skip links. We've got the list styles none, and then I'm going to go margin 0. That will solve one of the problems straight away. Then in the header itself, we're going to get rid of the position fixed and all of that. We're all happy with that. So that will now fit in like this. We now need to deal with the body, the main section. So if we go back into the app, we've got the margin top. We've got the min height. I think the min height does not quite work yet because of that logo, but that's not a problem. We're going to fix that logo right now. With the header component, we've got the header profile image being that. We should have the header show menu, we should have the NearBeach logo in here. So on a small screen, all right, width, margin, top. Yeah, the NearBeach logo. I don't know why it's saying height 70, but it shouldn't be height 70. Let's go height 100%. No. All right, cool. So we're going to go back over. There we go. We should definitely get rid of this. That should be 24 pixels. Easy done. On small screens. So that's anything bigger than that. All right, cool. Yeah, I like that. And it looks like we don't have any roll up or roll down. That should be 45. As the height. So if we go into the header itself, yeah, it's 45 with that whole entire container. I'm zooming out just a little bit. Cool, yeah. And then when we click on this, all of that will work perfectly fine, and we should be able to scroll up and down on here now. Mobile view should be 360, which should support most phones. Don't forget 1300 to 1400 laptop view. All right, yep. I've currently set up my. Give me 2 seconds. I'll go to the CSS. I'll go to the media variables. So at the moment, I've got 640 for a small screen. And then medium screen, this is 768, large screen 1024, and so forth like that. I think I grabbed these from Tailwind, how they've set their stuff out. So anything that is under this, I will consider a mobile phone. Yeah. I've just picked that one. I should have also picked that one. That's there's 375, so you're saying 360. I mean, that works. Oh, we got some pink down there. All right, we can fix that. Let's get rid of, I'm just gonna hit refresh. All right, it only appears when we got the menu out. So I'm gonna inspect this. I have a feeling oh, and I still got the horizontal stuff. Still got that. All right. Yeah, you do the screen size map and do the high. Okay, yep, 360, 390. So I will consider them mobile phones. Then you got that. All right, cool. I've also including tablets too, which is why I have those sort of weird ones too. So, yeah. All right, so I've broken this. These are out there like that. So this is a display flex. This might be why I had things how I had them. Okay, give me a couple of seconds. I'm just gonna remind myself. So we've got it as a, no, block, flex, yeah, none, not Ruby based, not table, none. It should be like that, and then, yeah, you can do that in there, but we're escaping out. And I don't know why. Got everything in there. Do we just have an overflow? All right, nav. Sorry, suction tail is in the way. All right, give me a couple of seconds. CSS, nav bar. We want sticky, we don't want all that. We want oh, I think I know what it is. All right. So what's actually happening is we're adding in something to the main itself. If I put this off to the left now, so with the main, we've got margin left, and it's that margin left which is doing that. All right, that's it. That's when the main map. All right, cool. I now know what it is. We can fix it very, very quickly. So I want to go. This would actually be in the app itself. So the main, when the main nav open, this is where we add in the margin left. That's meant to move stuff across. However, on mobile phone, we don't want to do that. So we want to do at media. And then we want to go, this is where we go screen, small screen. Oops, sorry, I'm just doing, so when it's a small screen, we want it to do that, not when it's a large screen. And if I move that to the right, we're just gonna hit refresh. We're gonna open this up. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna open this up till we hit a small screen, and there we go, cool. So it isn't until we hit a small screen that it will show some content as well as that. That way, if we're on an iPhone, let's edit the list. Oh, do they have my phone on here? Let's go cancel. Let's go Samsung. Because my phone opens up. No, they don't. But that's fine. It's fine. That's fine. They do have an iPad on here. Which, yeah, we want it to look like that on the iPad. Which, once again, I'll be testing these on my devices and so forth like that. I will be actually uploading the latest version shortly. Which, feel free to play around with. Feel free to sort of be like, hey, this is going to be a problem. Can you get this fixed and stuff like that? So, yeah. Which I should put the link in the dashboard. Okay, give me a couple of seconds. I'm going to minimize that. I'm going to open up this. I'm going to open up source. I'm going to open up the components dashboard. We're going to open up the dashboard. I'm going to put in P. It's just a simple P. We would love some feedback. Please give us feedback on our Discord server. Alright. I'm just going to make that a complete tag. Ref equals. We'll figure that one out in a second. We're going to just do something like this very, very quickly. We're going to make sure that the ref equals no follow and no. Yeah, so I also do that with NearBeach. We also use Browser Stack quite a lot. Not as much as we have in the past, but we will be using Browser Stack very soon to do a bunch of testing, which will be kind of cool. Ooh, they've got accessibility testing now. Oh, how does this work? All right, do I have access to this is the next question. Let's go to the dashboard. Training AI agents can make your QA faster and smarter. All right. Wait for that to open up. I will get the Discord join token in a second. Let's copy link. It's right there. All right. I'm just going to paste that in. Ooh. That's not correct. That's better. No index. Alright, cool. Talk to an expert. We don't need to talk to an expert at the moment. We've got recent text and stuff like that. We don't want Mac. Oh, I've got an extension nowadays. Alright, cool. This is Chrome. Oh, don't they do... Hang on. Damn it. All right. What if I search browser stack? Nah. All right. Cool. No problem. Now they got live. They got accessibility testing. All right. Let's go to that. Let's close that. Accessibility. We're happy with that so far. Once again, we'll come back to it. We will definitely come back to this one too. Oh, I've got to read all of this. Yeah, I've got to read all of that. All right, so I'm just going to hit refresh. Got all that. Oh, can I do this locally? All right. I don't actually have it part of my package. Damn. All right, not a problem. Not a problem. We're still going to use this tool to do stuff. Because I can jump into here. It takes a little while. What's the time? 9:45. 9:15. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Bit of a yawn. All right, we might want to go. All right, let's test iOS, and we might go. Oh, we want to test an iPad, and we want to test the 9th generation Safari. Sorry, this does take a little while to boot up. Whilst it's booting like that, I wanted to see the dashboard and give us feedback. All right, cool. And I want that to be target equals blank. All right, awesome. So the idea is when we click on that, it'll take the user to Discord. Sweet. This is certainly taking a little while, longer than I expected. I'm gonna close that network tab. Actually, no, I'm gonna keep it open. Yeah, sorry, this doesn't usually take this long. Alright, page structure. Header, yep. Main, yep. Section, yep. Section, yep. Alright, cool. Yeah, I'm just reading up very, very quickly at the top level. VoiceOver, landmark screen reading check screen. Here's a list of screen reader commands in VoiceOver, NVR, and JAWS. Now, I've heard of JAWS before. Alright. Close. Ooh, alright. Now, what I need to do, local testing. We've got the binary already. I just need the key. Give me a second. Opening up a new tab. We need to go into the downloads, and then there's another folder in here I think is called browser stack. Yep, cool. And then I want to go browser stack key. Keep forgetting if it is equals or a space. No, it's just a simple space, and we just paste that in like that. That tells browser stack, hey, I'm here. Give me. All right, cool. It's doing its thing. All right, not a problem. What we want to do is we want this address. I don't want to cut it. Thank you. 5173. Hello? Oh no. Oh no. Alright, why can't I can't interact with this. URL entered is accurate. Alright, yeah. Entered URL, yep. Alright, cool. Not a problem, but we're not throttling the network. Let's rotate the device. I think it's frozen. Hello? Device? Oh, I think that's for us. Alright, not a problem. Alright, what I want to do is show home screen. I'm just switching. Alright, children. Killing time. All right. Now I can do stuff. All right, cool. Local host. What was it? 5127. 5173. 5173. So local host 5173. All right, looks like one of the iPads just froze up a little bit. So, yeah, that's annoying when that happens. But what we can do with this is we can sort of see how this will work now. Straight away, I can see an issue, which is caused by the fact that this nav bar is up at the top. But when we go down here and we start navigating stuff, okay, cool. Yeah, I gotta scroll down to get to it. So yeah, this is why we do the hot pink. Okay. And I know we do this already. I know we have solved this already. So if I actually go into prod, we're going to go into the Kanban 2. We know we have this problem already existing in the Kanban board. I forgot where it is. Oh, thank you, socks. Like, why do you do that, socks? Always use color debugging. Yeah, no, it's hot pink's great because people will be like, there's hot pink on the page. It's something that just stands out. So I know I've done this at somewhere. Right, I'm gonna get out of that. We're gonna open up NearBeach itself. We're gonna go new window for the NearBeach. We don't need it over here. We'll put it over here. What I want to do, I want to close that. I want to minimize all of that. We want to open up NearBeach. We want to open up source. We want to open up the SAS. I'm just wondering if it's in, no. So it would be under components. Most likely Kanban board. DVH. That's what we want. All right, so under the app itself, we've got the min height being 100, view height. We want DVH. and everything gets recreated again. We should reload this page. As you see, when we move down, still does that a little. So we need to do DVH on the navbar too. So we go over to the nav menu, nav component, sorry. Navbar menu, height, DVH. Alright, and what this does is it takes into consideration this stuff up here because, yeah, it works slightly different on Apple products. And Professor Logout, hey, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Right, I'm just gonna scroll up and it reloads the page, but yeah, notice how everything sort of sits there now. If we scroll down, I can see a problem already. When we scroll down, the navbar goes up with it. So I might need to add in that position attributes. So this is why we test. So with you're doing good figuring out Go releaser today, which is surprisingly fun so far. Oh, nice. We're mocking up something and figuring out a few things. We've figured out accessibility. Well, we've done some of it. We're also redesigning our mock-up very, very quickly and testing it and realizing we've made a mistake. So, which always happens, but that's not a problem. So we're going into the header component. We're going up at the top. And what I want to do is, oh, what about sticky stuff? And thank you very much for the follow. I do hope you enjoy my content. We also have Socks here who's staring at the screen. She just helps me program by getting in the way. All right, position sticky top. So let's just play with this for a second. Let's just do something like that. Oops. Yeah, I'm hoping that works. We'll find out in a second. So, that looks like it's working. However, well, it's doing something weird whenever that happens with the reload. I'm more concerned about the search request for change. So we're just going to go over into our app itself. We're going to reload this. We'll just hit reload. It works a lot faster. If we get rid of that, scroll down and up. All right, cool. Inspect this one little tiny thing with the main. All right. That seems to work. I'm happy with that. I will have to test it on my iPad. But yeah, that seems to be working. And if we click that to do that, yeah, all right, sweet. All right. And then what I want to do, I'm going to switch browser. We're going to do a small iPad. Just because I want to see what happens when it's on a small screen. Okay. Unable to load page, no, that's fine, that's perfectly fine. This one ain't frozen, so it's localhost. It was 5173. I don't have the best memory, 5173. All right, cool. It should load it up pretty quickly. All right, sweet. I'm going to rotate the screen. All right, yep, no, that's fine. Sorry, Socks, I'll need my mouse. We're gonna rotate the device. All right, we're gonna zoom in. Oh, sorry, I thought that was gonna zoom in on here. All right, files and media. Oh. All right, yeah. No, that's fine. What we want to do is local. Yeah, we're doing the local testing. All right, cool. I don't know how to zoom in on this, but that's fine. That looks okay. Let's switch browser. We're going to do an iPhone. I'm going to do a 14. And then I should jump onto a browser to see if we've got a screen reader or something like that. All right, so the sticky worked. I'm happy with that. All right, cool. So we want to go local 5173. Couldn't. Doesn't need to be secure. Worst case scenario, if this one doesn't, we'll move on if this doesn't work. I am going to bring up the we're going to bring that up because I am going to do all of that. Alright, you alright. Alright, we haven't read you in a while. Alright, cool. No, it's not working. Switch browser. Let's do Windows 11. Let's do the latest. Alright. Oh. Ow. Alright, I've got another one here. This one's oddly shaped. All right, that's taking a little while. X out of that. Yeah. All right. There's a lot of reading I've got to do. Next article, test. All right, yeah, there's a lot of reading. It'll be good. I've got my note, my Kindle. I'll write notes and stuff like that to see what I want to do. I don't know why this is taking a long time. So, yes. In the meantime, what I can actually do whilst we're waiting for that, and if anyone wants to actually do this, we're just gonna stop that. We're gonna go npm run build. That will take not that long. We're gonna go run back into the dev, so the dev server is booted back up. There we go, we should be fine now. We're just gonna click on this. We're going to go localhost. I knew it, what didn't select all of that. Localhost 5173. We're just going to hit enter. That will bring up this. Great. And whilst you guys are waiting, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try out the new that. I'm going to go File Manager. I'm going to go Sites www root. We are going to delete all of that. Yes, we're going to delete the fav icon. Yes, we're going to delete that. Yes. I am going to give me a couple of seconds. Sorry, I'm just the view test bed mockup 2. Just we're going to drag those over there. I'm going to go to the downloads. No, I want home, sites, NearBeach, static, NearBeach. We should have fav icon in here. God, there's a lot of files in here. That's a PNG. We're well past LNP, ACDG, HI. Okay. EF. Oh, we don't have fav icon in here. Oh. Alright, not a problem. We go into NearBeach, we go into source, we've got resources, images. We don't have the fav icon there. How are we generating the fav icon? Alright, NearBeach.favicon.svg.png. What I want to do is just copy the fav icon. View page source. Fav icon. That's just there. So that would be, yeah, NearBeach. I'm just going to save as. We're going to go fav icon. That's a PNG. We don't want a PNG. We want ICO. Damn it. All right. Go to this. Page source. All right. It's using our CDN. Okay, not a problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this index. We've got the fav icon. We're just going to use our CDN. And then what I want to do, I want to go over here. I'm just going to click on this. We're just going to go to sites again. View test beds. We've got the mockups. We've got the distribute. I'm just dragging and dropping the new index into there. Whoops. Site www root, drag that into there, then that should have the fav icon. Nah, it didn't change. All right, no problem. I'm just manually changing this. This is save. All right, cool, done. All right, so for those wondering what I just did, if we go to robotic-head.azure websites, we should now see what is up there. Cool. So you guys are more than welcome to play around with this. Any issues you do find, please report them to our Discord. Yeah, because I want to fix this up before I actually implement it everywhere. Another thing I want to do. All right, so over here we've got this, supercharge accessibility screen reader. I'm just gonna. Oh. All right. I don't know how this works. I don't know if it's saying something.
VF project HTTP //localhost 5173/search/
Okay.
HTTP // request for change HTTP dashboard HTTP Kanban board HTTP create new Kanban board HTTP create new requirement HTTP // localhost 5173/requirement/new.
Okay, it's pretty good. One thing which I just want to find out is HTML screen readers not reading the href. All right. Oh, we don't want it to. Okay, stop screen readers reading the href, but we still want it to read the text. All right, so I'm trying to make a web application more accessible, but I'm having a lot of problems understanding how to use the area. All right, cool, we've got all of that. So you have two questions: how to prevent the screen reader from saying link? Answer: you don't, or rather you shouldn't. Hearing link is telling the screen reader user that they have a link. So okay, cool. Sweet, yep, I'm happy to do that. Yep, so leave it in, that way they're like, all right, cool, this is gonna do something.
// localhost 50 request for change HTTP // localhost task HTTP.
Now I'm just realizing that should say search
for change HTTP
for, this is why we're testing. I'm going to close all tabs. We're going to go into the navbar menu. Down here we've got the prop titles, but what we want to do is up here we're going to go aria label equals, and we're just going to do it in line like this for the moment. We're going to go search for props.title. So that should reload on here. I'm just going to hit reload.
Localhost 5173/search/ still loading complete. Search for request for change HTTP // localhost 5173. Search for task HTTP // localhost 51. Search create new task HTTP / localhost. Search for project HTTP.
All right, I'm liking it. I'm liking this.
Create new search task. Search for dashboard HTTP.
Dashboard doesn't work. All right. Search for dashboard does not work. All the other ones are search. So what we want to do here is
search for task HTTP.
We're just going to go over here. We're
173/search/
having a look at the data. And something I could potentially send down to be like, hey, this is what the area label is going to be. That won't be a problem. All right. We want navbar component. No, this would be navbar menu. Sorry. Up here we've got destination, icon, route. All right, that's route. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna put that in. it gives us more control. So ARIA label, go to dashboard. Alright, and then we can just key these all in like that. That's not going to be a problem. Sweet. And then what we want to do with the navbar menu items, that then just goes, we simplify this very by deleting a lot of that. And then we go ARIA label, easy done. What we want to do up here is we'll have go to dashboard, we'll have search for Kanban board, we'll have search for requirement, we'll have search for project, we'll have, this will be search for task, and then we'll have search for request for change. Easy done. And then that should reload this automatically. I'm just going to hit reload. I'm going to close those. We are going to do scan in a second.
Dashboard http // dashboard http / localhost dashboard http Kanban board http.
Oh, we've lost it.
Localhost 50.
Okay. If I go into here, oh, we don't have ARIA label. I'm not passing it down. Menu item, hang on, menu item dot ARIA label, easy done. And then what we want to do is, I'm just going to put this one up. We want to go into here. I do want to set it like that. And I'm seeing a problem automatically. This will be type, oops. Gotta be capital, type string, required equals true. That should be all fine with that. I can see an issue. I'm just double checking it because it might not want it as a prop. Oh no, it looks like it's working. So we go over here now. We're just going to hit refresh.
Localhost 5173 /search/task. Still loading.
All right.
Task. Go to dashboard HTT. Search for Kanban board. Search for requirement. Search for project HTT. Search for task HTT. Search for request for change HTTP. Create new request for change HTTP. Create new project navigation landmark list. New project. Create new requirement 400 and navigation landmark list. Create new project link.
All right, I am liking that. That's working wonderfully. All right, what's the time? Okay, it's 9:45. I think it's time to almost raid someone, but this is coming along really, really well. And I do like how I can use this tool for live testing and stuff like that. That's pretty neat. I might continue. Oh, actually, that's not a might. That's a definite continue with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to rebuild my stuff. Give me a couple of seconds. I'm just deleting this stuff off there. And what I'm doing is I'm just removing that. I'm going to go over here where, it's this one. We're going to build it very, very quickly. Won't take... Ooh. All right. ARIA label, error, argument type, route new, standard is not assignable parameter. Hold on. If I do the dev will work perfectly fine, but yeah, the build won't.
Page not found. Warning, unable to display the page where facing issues.
Oh, yep, that's fine. I'm going to stop you. There you go. Thank you. This is a thing I kind of expected. Alright. If we scroll all the way down, we've got a couple of, sorry, on the menu. Got the navbar menu. Navbar menu item. Alright, cool. I'm gonna close all those tabs. I know where this is. If we go to the navbar component, we've got the navbar menu settings. If we go into the settings itself, these don't resolve. So we've got to go ARIA label, and we're gonna enter them in right now. One of them is, we're gonna say, go to NearBeach settings, easy done, we're all happy with that. And this one is log out of NearBeach. We're being very verbose about that. So if I go back over here, we rebuild, it double checks everything. We've got another problem. Argument type of ARIA label, yes, that's because we now need to put it down here. vbind ARIA label equals the menu item dot ARIA label. Sweet, we go over here, we just hit rebuild again. Another error. Where is this ARIA level? String destination route, where is this happening? Nav menu. All right, cool. I think I know what's happening. Just gonna close everything. Close all tabs. I swear to you, close all tabs. Did they break that button? I can't close that. All right. We're going to go into the menu item, menu settings, and the menu, nav menu. Because what we've got to do is with this one, I think I can't use that. We're gonna have something like that, which is fine. LMNOPQR, so it goes there. So we've just got to then go down into the code, and it's gonna be override ARIA label. And what's the matter, Socks? Yeah, I'll be finished soon, Socks. It's okay. So with the settings, this will now be override ARIA label. And we'll need to put it in the proper order. I'm just gonna copy that. We're gonna go over here. We're just gonna go down here. We're just gonna paste it in here. We're just going to get rid of it there. We're gonna go up here. We're just gonna move it down like that. And then we're going to build again. Done. Perfect. All right. The next thing I want to do is, if we go over here, we've got the icons and assets in here. I'm just going to drag them up to the robotic head site. So that will be robotic head at azurewebsites.net. So this should be new. So if we click on this one should have the ARIA label under the yep, go to the dashboard. Yep, all right, cool. If we copy this and we just paste it into here and we just go scan page, I just want to see what this does. Scan and monitor 1,000+ pages for accessibilities. All right, took 5 seconds, not configured. Amazon by demo user. Oh, all right, yeah. Oh. Wikipedia by demo user. Okay, cool. I don't know. Oh, the demo users. Okay, got score, critical, oof. Higher issues, critical. All right, cool. Let's click on critical. All right, that doesn't. Let's go back to summary. 77. All right, cool. View issue. Okay, yeah. Just means I gotta go through this and also figure it out. But yeah. Might be that those are just too light. Which, okay, fair enough. We can change that. We can definitely change that. I'm not settled on any colors or anything like that yet. Alright. Cool. I'm probably going to call it here tonight. We've done quite a bit. The next sort of work is working on internalize the I18N and so forth like that. So getting a lot of this sort of have the ability for it to translate, which will be nice to do. It is on one of our tickets. And then once we're happy with that, I've just got to go through and see what else we want to sort of implement and what other things we could potentially implement, so forth like that. So yeah, once again, trying to make NearBeach a lot better. Anyway, we know who we're going to raid already. It has been nearly 4 hours of stream. I am ready to raid someone. Alright, cool. But yeah, we got a lot done tonight. I'm quite happy. I'm definitely going to be using the browser stacks screen reader function, built-in screen reader functionality for testing and so forth like that. We've also got to start doing all the sort of testing and the unit testing and so forth like that. I might restructure how the folders are first before doing that. I've done a little bit of unit testing I built a small little component just to test out stuff, and I did quite a lot of tests for that, and I might sort of follow the flow of how I wanted that to be tested. Also, I would like to point out Socks is giving everyone the biggest greasy at the moment. Are you going to show them, Socks? You're going to be like, yeah, I'm giving her the biggest greasy. Oh, yeah. Oh, now she's giving the doe eyes. Oh. Anyway, thank you very much. We're going to raid. Give me a couple of seconds to bring this down. We're going to raid a mercenary mage who is currently building a game. I will unmute him. And thank you very much, everyone. And for those on YouTube, terribly sorry you won't be able to follow us, but don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you very much for being here.